Miles44, and I'm back with another Cardfight Vanguard Crayon Line deck profile. Today's deck profile we have, with the release of BT14, that was like a month ago, um, the lion that, is he a lion? No, he's not. Yes, he is. What am I talking about? The lion with the pair of scissors that's ready to save us all. Salvation Line, Grand Ezel Scissors. So, yeah. Ezel Scissors. Really, really, really powerful. Actually. It puts on tons of pressure, and this deck actually has a lot of Vanguard pressure too. So, it just has tons of pressure. The center column actually has a lot of pressure, and yeah, I don't keep saying pressure, but there's a lot of pressure in this deck. So, yeah. Anywho, let's get into it, shall we? So our starter will be small Scarlet Line Caria. So, if you don't know what she does, you put her in the soul, and then when attack hits a Vanguard, when this unit is boosting a Vanguard with Ezel in its card name, you may pay the cost, and if you do, you check the top 2 cards of your deck, search for up to 2 gold paladins, and then call in the rear guard as rest. So, she gives you a +1, gives you that gold paladin superior call stuff going on, but gives you +1, helps out a ton. Hey, that rhymed. But yeah, so great starter for this deck because all your grade 3s are Ezel, have Ezel in the card name because you have to play specific grade 3s to get Ezel Scissors ready to go. And speaking of which, let's move on to our grade 3s for Salvation Line Grand Ezel Scissors. So, if you don't know what he does, Limit Break 4, you Counterblast 2 and Soul Blast 2, and you unlock all of your locked cards if you have any. If you don't, you can still use his Limit Break, which is why he's actually really, really good. He helps against Link Joker and normal decks. He's really powerful. And then if you have 5 Gold Paladin rear guards, this unit gets power plus 10,000 and an extra crit until end of turn. And then at the end of the turn, you soul charge 1 and then choose a card from your damage zone and turn it face up. So he's basically like, it's basically you have to have 2 in soul. You have to counterblast 2, but at the end of the turn, you get to put one of the 2s back that you paid. Put both of the 2s back. So it's kind of like you're paying 2 and then you undo one of the pays. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a great pressure card. His normal ability is for as many Gold Paladin rear guards you have, he gains power plus 1000. So he's just like Ezel. He gets win for 16k. He has a 16k power by himself during your turn when you have 5 rear guards without the boost. And then you boost with a 7k or an 8k, and you're hitting for 23, 24. So it can hit cross rides very, very well. That's what this deck is good for, hitting cross rides well. Hitting any Vanguard really well to make them guard for at least 20. Not at least 20, at least 15. So it's very, very good at that. Very pressure heavy in the center column. Anywho, let's move on. For Incandescent Lion, Blond Ezel. So everybody knows what he does. And the reason you want to play him is because you want to ride him first to help get your pluses. You have about 3 cards to help you get pluses in the deck. The rest can't really help you get pluses. So he's really important because he just helps you get early. He helps you get pluses early on. And there's some cards in the deck that help you hit the 4 damage, so you can get the plus early on. And then the next turn, when you actually hit 4 damage, you can get Ezel Scissors. So he's just really, really helpful, really, really handy, and just helps Ezel Scissors a lot to set up his formation and poop all over your opponent. It's a very strong deck. Alright, so let's move on to our grade 2s. We have 4 Knight of Passion, Bagdemagus. Your 12k beaters. Just really essential 12k beaters. Can't really say anything else. And then we have 4 Mage Calamity, Tripp. So as much as I looked at all the grade twos as well. I mean, not as well. Sorry, I looked at all the grade twos. And when I looked through it, I thought Tripp was really the best option because of the fact that um, she's a damage unflipper, and I decided to play 4 with a better reason why. Everybody would play the damage unflipper if that was why, but considering how you have to pay 2 to use Ezel's skill, and then you want to pay 1 to use another guy's skill, another grade 2, which I will show you in a second, it's a little cost heavy for Ezel Scissors because it means you can only limit break once and you have to be at 5 damage. So you want to play 4 Tripp because you really want to pressure out that unflip a card either early on or later in the game. So you just really want to try for it, and that's why 4 Tripp is actually very important for the deck because of how many counterblasts you use, and Ezel Scissors. It's better if Ezel Scissors gets to be used twice than once, and yeah, just adds on a lot of pressure as well. And the grade 2 I was talking about was 3 Knight of Scorching Scales, Eliwood. So he's a new card as well. If you don't know what he does, you counterblast 1, and when a grade 3 unit with Ezel in its card name is placed on Vanguard circle, you can pay the costs, and if you do, you look at the top card of your deck, search for a gold paladin among it, and call it to an open rearguard circle. So he's basically like a tutor for riding a grade 3. So if any situation happens, like, you know, you have Ezel Scissors, you accidentally ride Ezel Scissors first, and then you ride Blond Ezel, but you have him on the field now, you can counterblast 1 to Spirit Call something, and then use maybe Blond Ezel's Limit Break with somebody else's combo. But he's just helpful for getting another plus in the deck. You only want to play 3 because 4 gets too cloggy, because you really only want to use his skill once, either early on when you ride Blond Ezel, or later in the game where you ride Ezel Scissors. One of the two. And you only need to do it once. So 4 is way too cloggy, and it also helps playing 4 Tripp because it'll help you get another Ezel Scissors Limit Break if you get his skill off. If you don't get this guy's skill off, then you can get two Ezel Scissors Limit Break off. And maybe if you pull a heal trigger and get a Tripp, and then, yeah, maybe if you pull a heal trigger as well, and then you have Tripp sitting in a column, they won't let it hit, because if you do, you get a 3rd Ezel Scissors. But that's out of the that's not the point. The point is 4 is too many, too cloggy in the deck. You really only need 3 either early on or later in the game. So you really only want to collect. You really only want to get 1, but you want to get 1 as much as you can. But 4 just makes it too cloggy, and yeah, I'm just repeating myself now. Why don't we move on? Morals. So we have 3 Halo Liberator Mark, 3 perfect cards, and then we also have 1 Sword Formation Liberator Igraine, the Quintet, and then 1 Quintet Wall. So 3 perfect cards, 1 Quintet Wall. There's a reason if you watch my Dauntless Reverse Deck profile, I explained it, but I'll explain it again. And this will be the only other time I'll explain it, because further on my deck profiles, people should know that. So basically, the reason she is really good, I mean, the reason you only want to play 1 Quintet Wall is for 1, you deck out too fast, and for 2, you need to save your counterblasts, and for 3, it doesn't guarantee a perfect nullify as well, and it's not overly hard to drop a card for a perfect card, but sometimes it is, and that's why, especially later in the game, and that's why you really only want to play 1. 2 is too many because it's too cloggy and it just messes up the deck a little, and you won't be able to use it a second time because you need it for your counterblasts and your limit breaks and such. So 1 is really the preferred choice, and playing 3 perfect guards is the best. So 3 perfect guards, 1 Quintet Wall is the best choice. Anywho, let's move on. So for Knight of Elegant Skills, Gareth. There's a reason I play Gareth. You might be wondering why. But there's really not too many grade 1s that help the deck, and because you really want to hit those cross rides as well, because the center column pressure is so heavy, it just helps you hit that cross ride. And the only other card I could think of was the drop and draw grade 1, but I think I said it before, if you end up riding Ezel Scissors, and then you have at first, and then you have to ride Blond Ezel, and then you have to find another Ezel Scissors, you don't want to be dropping and drawing the Ezel Scissors. So, and also they're an attacker. They're 11k, 10k attacker, so it's nice to have them for that aggression for the rides, especially with that other guy's skill that, what if you rise an Ezel Scissors on an Ezel Scissors and you get to use a skill to superior call one? It's still handy. So I decided not to play it, and it works better not playing it anyways. I tested it out both ways. So I prefer the Gareth because it helps you hit solid columns, and it just helps the middle column hit that cross ride mark, because there's really nothing else to play other than him. Because you need your soul, and then other than that is all counterblast stuff. Yeah. So we also have 3 Knight of Passion, Torre. So he's your 10k beater for Ezels. Very, very good card. I like him a lot. Just a 10k beater. Nothing else to say. Helps with aggression. That's it. And then we have 3 Twin Holy Beast, White Lion. So if you don't know what he does, you counterblast 1, and when it's placed on rearguard circle, and you have a Vanguard with Ezel in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, you soul charge 1. Put the top card of your deck into your damage zone, and at the end of the turn, you choose a card from your damage zone, put it back to your deck, shuffle your deck. So he's your self-damager for Ezels specifically, which is actually really, really good because the way he works is he's 7k, he's not a 6k. So you can place him wherever you want and not be worried about, the 6k boosting in 9k because he's not 6k. But on top of which, it helps you soul charge a little more to use Ezel Scissors a little more, and also it helps with early aggression, like I explained earlier. When you self-damage yourself, if you self-damage yourself early, you can get at 3 damage, you can get Ezel's counter limit break off, and then the next turn when you're at 4 damage properly, you can ride Ezel Scissors and use his limit break. So that's really, really handy for that. And it also helps if you're pushed early on. And you can end out a game like this just calling him, counterblasting 1, putting a card into your damage zone, you're at 4. And you have Ezel Scissors as your Vanguard. And then limit breaking, pulling a crit, ending the game. So if they're at 3 damage, of course. But that's what I meant. If they're 3 damage or more. So if they're not ready to take it, then yeah, there's that too. So this card is just incredible for this deck. Helps early pressure, helps early setups, helps ending game if your opponent pushes you too far too early on. So beautiful card for this deck. I decided not to play 4 because I just felt 4 was too much, a little too cloggy. If you want to play 4 and 3 Gareth, that's what I would recommend switching it to, because that's what I played at first, and that's what I thought would be right. But I prefer 3 of him. Get 1 early on if you can. And yeah. Anywho, so let's move on to triggers. So we have 8 crit, 4 Flame of Victory, and 4 Silent Punisher. Then we have 4 draw, 4 Speeder Hound, and then 4 heal. 4 Elixir Sommelier. So, that's about it for this deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The deck list will be in the description below. Remember to like and comment, and go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Also, my Twitter, Skype, and Facebook will all be in the description below. You can check those out. And I'll see you guys next time.